Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm coming at you in Team Shadow Strike. If you guys recall, a while ago, I asked you if you would be interested in seeing a budget Link Joker deck. So this is what that video is. It is a budget Link Joker deck. There is a card that came out in BT15 Infinite Rebirth as a double rare that I thought, honestly, it didn't get enough love. I think the card is actually very, very good. So I'm going to be talking about it, and this is a Star Vader Freezeray Dragon deck profile. So I'm going to be showing you my version of this deck. I will tell you, excuse me guys, I will tell you that I have play tested with this deck at my locals a little bit on Saturday, and I gotta be honest with you guys, this deck is not bad. It's considering, you know, it is a 10k Vanguard. It's very, very good. I'm not saying this is the best version of the deck. This is just how I built it at first because I thought I was going for budget. And this deck honestly could do very well. So I'm gonna share the deck with you, and I'll explain a couple of reasons behind the deck. For the starter, I'm using Dusttail Unicorn because it is generally the best starter to use for any Link Joker deck. Simply, if your opponent has a locked rear guard, you may counterblast one, move this into your soul, and lock another unit. So, 4 copies for the triggers, 4 copies of Weiss Soldat, and 4 copies of Star Vader Meteor Liger. So 8 crits. I didn't put any. Put any of the new triggers in here, but you could put those in there if you wanted. 4 copies of Star Vader Nebula Captor, and 4 copies of Star Vader Stellar Garage. This would be the new heal trigger. This heal trigger I personally do not like. I like how the new heal trigger looks a lot better. But 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal. For the grade 1s, 4 copies of Barrier Star Vader Prometheum. Now, I do realize this is a budget Link Joker deck, so this may not be considered budget since it has one of the more expensive perfect guards right now. I wonder what Prometheum is going for. I'll look that up real quick here with you guys. Star Vader Prometheum. That's Japanese. 25. I see a $25 one. I see a $20 one. So he's floating around $20 to $25, so he may not be considered budget for most people. I just scooped this card up like crazy. Like, to give you an idea, guys, I was going through my stuff. I have four of these in my Chaos Breaker deck. I have 4 of them right here, and then I have another 5 right here. So I picked this perfect guard up a lot because I knew I would be building Link Joker decks for a while, and I was happy to pick this perfect guard up because I enjoy playing Link Joker decks because they fit my playstyle a lot, and so I realized these may not be considered budget since they're still floating around $20 to $25. But if you did not have these, I would recommend making these your basic 8K vanillas. You could play another Niobe. You could play another. You could play another Palladium or Lanthanum. You could try something else. I mean, that'd be up to you. But I would definitely recommend, trying to either the next time you buy packs, try and buy a couple packs of set 12. What was set 12 called? Binding Forces of the Black Rings, if I recall. And try and just open a couple, and maybe you'll get lucky and pull one. And then you can add the perfects to the deck as you get them. But if you can get these, I would highly recommend it. If not, though, you can make them 8K vanillas or any other Link Joker grade 1, or add basically a 4th copy of either one of the grade 1s that I only play 3 of in this deck. For the rest of the grade 1s, I play 4 copies of Imaginary Orthos. This is the self-damager for Link Joker, and he the reason I play 4 copies of this guy is because he helps you. He's there to make it to where you can lock on your turn With Freezeray, that'll make more sense when I get there, so bear with me there. But also, like I've said, the self-damagers, they help you put triggers back in the deck, so... or other key cards like your Radons or something like that. I also played 3 copies of Prison Star Palladium. This is the relocker, grade 1. In your opponent's end phase, when their units would unlock, you may counterblast 1, move this into your soul, and it relocks any unit that was currently locked. And then I play 3 copies of Demon Claw Star Vader Lanthanum. This is one of the best grade 1s that Link Joker has. Pretty much every time a unit is locked and he's on your field, he goes up by 2,000 power. So these can get pretty big if you set him up right. For grade 2s, excuse me guys. For grade 2s, we play 4 copies of Unrivaled Star Vader Radon. This is your Link Joker 12k attacker, so you definitely want to max out on that. Luckily, you can pick these up normally in trade for about $2 to $3 a piece. And we also play 4 copies of Strike Star Vader Krypton. 10k vanillas in this deck are pretty good. So I mean, if you can't or don't have Radons, don't worry, you can play the grade 2 self-damager. You know, that would benefit you. You could use the special intercepts, the 10k intercept grade 2, which that would actually be a good choice too if you don't have perfect guards. But you definitely do try and pick up Radons. You can normally get them for anywhere from $2 to $3, so $12 for a playset, and they're 12k attackers. And 12k attackers normally they help you break magic numbers. Sometimes you can get over 10,000. If you can get over 10,000 power from your opponent, it makes it much more harder to guard. So that's why 12k attackers are so important. But definitely you want to play 10k vanillas. It's a good grade 2 ride. Now for the rest of my grade 2s, I'm playing 3 copies of Niobium. It is the grade 1 version of it's the grade 2 version of Lanthanum, the grade 1 that gains 2,000 power for every lock that happens when it's face up. He does the exact same thing. Now, you can change your grade 2s up any way you want. If you have colony makers, you could play those. You could use special intercepts. You could use, there's a card in the trial deck, I can't remember what it's called, but when you have more rear guards than your opponent does, he swings for 11. So there's a lot of other things you can do. This is just how I set it up, and it worked very well. Then for my grade 3s, I'm playing 4 copies of Star Vader Infinite Zero Dragon. This card is still one of the best cards that Link Joker has, simply because it gets us 2 free locks for nothing more than a ride and a 10k power boost for the turn. And then whenever he is a Vanguard, he swings for, whenever he attacks an opponent's Vanguard, he gets +2, making him a 13k attacker at all times. So this is another one of those cards that might not be considered budget. They're probably still floating around $10 to $12 a piece, if I had to guess. So if you are looking for these, you can check out my trade binder. I have, I think, like 2 playsets for trade, but this is still one of the best cards that Link Joker has access to. So if you can invest in them, I definitely would invest in them because it gets you free locks, and it helps you set up for a good turn when you bring Freezeray into it. So, excuse me. And then for the final grade 3 and the boss around this budget deck, 4 copies of Star Vader Freezeray Dragon. So let me read Freezeray to you if you do not know what Freezeray does. His ability is Limit Break. When your opponent's rearguard is locked due to an effect from one of your cards, this unit gets plus 3,000 until the end of battle. And that is an auto ability. So that means any time that one of your opponent's rearguards is locked during your turn or their turn, he goes up by 3,000 power every time. Next, his ability that is going to be fueling his Limit Break and making your opponent second guess before every time they hit him. When his Vanguard ability is when a card is put into your damage zone, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So that's why we play 4 copies of Imaginary Orthos, the Self-Damager, because we can use this during our turn, and that will activate his ability to lock. So one thing that's really cool is if you have a Infinite Zero and then you Break Ride Freezeray, Infinite Zero is going to let you lock 2 units. Then you have a couple of options. You can use an Imaginary Orthos or your Dusttail and use their ability to Counterblast 1 and damage yourself, or Counterblast 1 and move this into the soul and lock a 3rd unit. That means Freezeray at that time, after he's Broke Road and there's 3 locked units on the field, he'll be at 29,000 power by himself. So you can definitely get Freezeray up to big numbers. But what makes Freezeray so good is during your opponent's turn, when he is your Vanguard, say they send one of your opponent's rear guards or their vanguard to attack you first. What he does when he takes damage, you get to, or when a card is put into your damage zone, you get to lock one of their units. So basically, you just lock one of their front row rear guards and you shut off one of their columns. So that's the part that he makes up for by being a 10k vanguard. And also when you have 4 or more damage, and that skill activates, even if it's on your opponent's turn, you will lock one of their rear guards, and then he gains plus 3,000 power, in which he'll jump up to 13k. So Freezeray is a good card, guys. I'm not going to deny that. I really enjoyed playing him. I would definitely recommend trying this deck out if I were you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to do a match with him yet. I will tell you, I really think this is a fun deck. I really enjoyed playing with it, so I would definitely recommend you trying it out. So if you have any questions on this deck, on how maybe you could make this deck better, maybe a couple of things that you could do, or anything like that, just please feel free to ask, and I'll be more than happy to help you any way I can. So anyway, guys, you can, the way I have built this deck, the only thing that really is going to cost you anything is your Perfect Guards, your Radons, and your Break Rides. Star Vader Freezeray is not going to cost you much. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you already aren't. Make sure you leave some feedback in the comment section below. Feel free to answer any question that you might have, and I will be more than happy to do more budget decks for you guys in the future if you will give me an idea of what kind of budget decks you would like to see. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up this video, and I'll see you later.